wouldn't tell you that it was a bit more loaded today than every other day. But then we have three conversations in front of us. But we're just going to get right into the first one with our guest who had joined us for a newspaper review a while ago, Chief Chibuna Uba Buike, to look at the APC, 10 years of the All Progressives Congress, the ruling party in Nigeria today. And of course, President Bola Tinubu has just started his second year into his administration, but it doesn't take away the fact that the APC came into power on the 29th of May 2015. Since that time, it will look like Nigerians have put this party under some sort of search lamp, just to be able to do, amongst other things, maybe comparative analysis between the APC and the PDP that had done 16 years as of when former President Muhammadu Buhari came into office. So we want to see what the impact has been in this regard, and to even add that the national chairman, the current chairman of the ruling party, former governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, is also marking 1 year in office as the national chairman of the party. And by the way, there's an event marking that auspicious occasion today, and Global TV has been following very closely. But let's begin, first of all, by asking questions around what necessitated the idea of that amalgamation that happened. I don't know if that's the right word, but we saw something around that neighborhood happening in 2014, which had actually become the climax of what originally was the AC, later became ACN, and now the APC. Has that, if you like, collaboration or marriage been of any benefits to Nigerians?
It's of immense benefit to Nigerians because, like the lawyers will say, you know your terminus aqua, where you are coming from, and the terminus aqua, where you are headed. Where we are coming from, at the advent of this Fourth Republic, we started well. Along the line, there was a derailment. So that derailment in governance brought about the coming together of different political tendencies to form what is the All Progressives Congress, Africa's largest political party. And the party has been doing well. Yes, the road has not been smooth. It has been laden with bombs and thorns, but we are navigating it. And to the best of my knowledge, considering where we are coming from, APC have done well. We have dispensed good governance to Nigerians. Yes, what Nigerians wanted was an overnight transformation, but transformation doesn't come that way. It is not an over-the-counter item you pick, because a lot of things had gone wrong that need to be fixed. And in trying to fix them, issues come up, hardship, difficulty, but we are trying to put them together, and we are doing our best to ensure that Nigerians enjoy at the end of the day. It has not been a bed of roses, but we are doing our best to make sure that Nigerians see the reality and enjoy good governance.
I want to ask a question. It's a decade now. Let's talk about your APC, the achievements, and of course the challenges. Been 10 years now. Which overrides which? Is it the challenges or the achievements at this time?
The achievements override the challenges, but you know that the human society is dynamic, and the political, the development of a nation is also dynamic. As human grows, challenges come. It comes with challenges. So each passing day, there are going to be challenges. So as the challenges come up, you do your best to, manage the challenge, if not solving it or taking care of it completely. So 10 years of governance has also been 10 years of challenges, solving one challenge after the other as the human society evolves. That is what has been the situation. But the achievements have, to some large extent, outweighed the challenges. But the challenges will keep coming so long as we are alive, in the system, and we are doing what we are supposed to do. On this earth, challenges are part and parcel of human development.
Right. There are people who would say that your party, under former President Muhammadu Buhari, spent 8 years serving Nigerians what you might want to call unpleasant irony. What does that mean? So the former president comes into office in 2015, and prior to that time, in the heat of the campaign that brought him into office 9 years ago, it was changed that your party was selling to Nigerians, and well, on account of the outcome of that election, people would say yes, Nigerians bought that product, so to speak, and then by 2019, it moved from change to next level. But then those 8 years brought a lot of hardship in itself, one way or another. Of course, the excuses the government had presented all of that time was there was a global recession, Nigeria was not exempted from it, Nigeria was not insulated from it, and then there was also COVID in between, that again had its own bites, and so on and so forth. When you look at that period, really, even as a member of the party, I know this sounds like saying you should be a judge in your own cause, which is not even realistic. Are you proud as an APC member?
I am very, very proud to be an APC member, and I am very, very proud.
On account of this background I just painted?
The background is not how it is realistically. Because in the last 10 years, there has been a global lull in the economic system. It is not peculiar to Nigeria. In the last 10 years, from the crash in oil prices, COVID, and other natural disasters and all whatnot, the world has been experiencing a global economic meltdown in the last 10 years. But before I go ahead, as of 2012, June to be precise, the former finance minister, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, did say that Nigeria was borrowing money to pay salaries as of 2012, 3 years before APC came to power.
And the APC continued that trajectory.
No, I'm coming. The ground for what we are going through has already been laid over the years. In the last time I was here, or some time ago I was here, I did say that Nigeria has been suffering socio-economic and socio-political appendicitis over the years, not just in this Fourth Republic, over the years. And successive administrations in Nigeria, they knew the problem, but they shied away from tackling the problem, from performing that socio-political and socio-economic surgery on that appendicitis. Why? They brought in emotions. If I did perform this surgery, now people will suffer. There will be pain. And people will rise against us, saying our government is not popular. They began to pamper the problem, until we got to where we are in this socio-political miasma that we have found ourselves. To extricate Nigeria out of this bog is not a tea party. It is going to take efforts. Let me give you an instance. When a parent gives birth to a child and that child has appendicitis, the only remedy to treat appendicitis is surgical operation. Surgical operation is not pleasant. It is a painful procedure. But no loving parent will say, because of the pain, let me allow this child to carry that appendicitis, let it rupture and the child dies. No. Every loving parent will say, let the child undergo that operation, suffer the pain, and enjoy life.
For how long, though?
I am coming. Successive administrations have been pampering that appendicitis. We have been suffering it until it ruptured. That is why we are here. To clean up a ruptured appendicitis, it takes effort. If the surgeon is not a professional, he will lose the patient. So Nigeria, our party came in, met a rotten system. To fix that rotten system will take a time. If you put up like this high rise, it is too busy to put down a high rise. But to put it up takes a lot of pain, a lot of effort and resources. This is our scenario. Let me come. Successive administration say, if we do this, people will suffer, they will cry, they will shout. That is what is happening now. And people felt we were enjoying. We were eating our future previously. We are eating our tomorrow today. And we got to today nothing to eat.
But I want to
extended it. So to put it up, to reinvent the future will take time, it will take effort, it will take resources, and will come about with pain.
But don't you think, talking about time, process, and all of that, now this present administration, APC, when you came into office and all of that, there was removal of subsidy. And most people will agree that there was a process in which the removal would have been done. So Nigerians will not face the hardship in which we're in right now. Do you think there's a different point of view, or this was the right method, or it would have been a process bit by bit so that the hardship would not be as much as it is right now? Because you said those other present administration was actually pampering the problem, but things were not as hard as it was as we face now. Things were going smoothly. Nobody knew what it was. But this is taking a long time. Don't you think there would have been a different process?
Let me come this way. There is this, okay, the snail we know.
Uh-huh.
When you put the snail in the fire, it will start bubbling forth water, thinking that it wants to quench the fire. People say when you put the snail in the fire, it will be bubbling that water as if it wants to quench the fire. It doesn't know that it was cooking itself with that bubbling. Within a twinkle of an eye, see that the snail is dead and burnt. That's another date. There is another one. A grasshopper, you put it on fire, you will see oil on the body. To feel as if, I am fresh. But it has already cooked itself. We thought we were enjoying, but we are eating our food, or we are cooking ourselves in the fire. The previous administrations gave us a semblance of that we are enjoying by what they were covering. They were covering, piling things, problem up. You know, like I did cite an instance that we are borrowing money to pay salaries as of 2012. People thought they were enjoying. But there is a problem being created. Now you get to tomorrow to see that problem. How do you solve it? Now to the issue of fuel subsidy.
Exactly.
It is not the present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that removed fuel subsidy. The Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, removed petroleum subsidy. Subsidy on petroleum products, especially PMS, premium motor spirit, that is generally used. Why? We saw during President Jonathan's administration, when the investigation on subsidy was conducted by the National Assembly, we saw the malfeasance, we saw the high level of corruption. I used to be in the oil industry. My dear, vessels that never came to Nigeria, documents were manufactured to claim petroleum subsidy. It was a cesspool of corruption. Nigeria was borrowing money to pay subsidy. Even the last administration was borrowing money to pay subsidy. First, NNPC started with during Obasanjo regime that we consume 30 million liters a day. From when Obasanjo left, President Yar'Adua came, they say we consume 35 million liters a day. There is no scientific justification for those figures being quoted. It is corruption. Now, when President Jonathan came, they say 45 million liters a day. How? Where? Where does the vehicles, the trucks carrying the products pass? To which road do they pass? The pipelines are not working. How do are we drinking the petroleum products? Now, President Buhari came from 45, they say 50 to 65 million. What are we drinking petroleum every day, premium motor spirit, that we should be consuming 65 million liters a day? These are figures that were manufactured by NNPC and the petroleum subsidy cabal to fritter the resources of Nigeria. Nigeria was borrowing money to pay subsidy, trillions of naira to pay subsidy. People were enriching themselves. I did listen to former Governor Isayugu of Bauchi State. Sometimes he said a friend of his who was part and parcel of the subsidy cabal told him that they are tired of making this money, that this subsidy should go. They are tired of making this money. People will just sit by and millions and trillions will enter their account under the guise of subsidy. And Nigeria was bleeding. Now, they have borrowed money, created holes here and there. How do you fix those holes? How do you plug those holes? It is a problem that has been created. How do you solve it? Remove this subsidy. Let us live the real life. We are living the real life now. We have been living artificial life all along, a cosmetic life. Let us live the real life, face our problems, go through it, and then be stronger. Now, after the removal of petroleum subsidy, receipts, income into the federation account increased astronomically. And states now began to receive double or more or triple of their former allocation from the federation account. The question is, what are the states doing with those quadruple receipts they are getting from the federation account? Those are people who should ask the questions. Every month, the federation account allocation committee will dispense funds to states. Yet there has never been any month that they did not get their allocations. What have they been doing with those humongous amounts of money to cushion the effect of the hardship we are facing? I support the removal of the subsidy completely. And if you see what is happening now, the subsidy cabal, because they have amassed so much wealth to fight any government that want to stop it. These are the people fighting. And look at what they're fighting, doing to Dangote refinery. They don't want it to come on stream. Because if it begins to produce at optimum and supply it to saturate the market with petroleum products, there wouldn't be need to import anything. And their business of filtering away our commonwealth through subsidy will close. So they are not happy. They are sponsoring people to do whatever to bring down that refinery so that it doesn't work. Look at Port Harcourt refinery. For how long have NNPC been engaging in turnaround maintenance? Has he produced anything for over the years? Since they began the importation of refined petroleum products, the corruption setting. And those people that are beneficiaries of the corruption does not want anything to work because they want to continue to feed fat on our commonwealth. Let the subsidy go. Let us face the pain once and for all and enjoy a better life tomorrow. Yes, it is painful. Everybody is feeling it. But there is life ahead, a better life that all of us will enjoy.
If you don't mind me stepping in at this point, it will be crying over spilled milk, as they say, to say we should go back to status quo. I mean, the time before which we removed a subsidy. But then let's talk about fixing, because that was the term you used a while ago. President Tinubu, now then candidate of the APC 2022-2023, had talked about how that the subsidy regime is criminal, and we know what should be done to criminals within the confines of the law. The president is doing his second year into office. And while we're looking at the papers this morning, you did say that this president has will, political will. Why has he not been able to bring one person? Because we understand from investigation that the bulk of the guys who are pulling these strings are private sector operators.
Yeah.
And they are not ghosts. Most of them are resident in this country.
Exactly.
They have large-scale industry, companies in this country. What makes it rocket science to deal with these issues once and for all?
I believe the president is doing something in that regard. You will not know what is happening behind the scene. But by the time they finish what they are doing, you will see that a lot of heads will roll. Beginning with NNPC and their subsidiaries. That is where the problem is. Those private sector operators will not, operate without being aided and abetted by NNPC officials who approve the documentation they present. It is a long chain from NIMASA, from NPA, down to NNPC. You say this vessel sailed in so and so time. We did discover during the investigation, during I think the 7th or so National Assembly, when the investigations were carried out, both NPA, both NIMASA that have the, NPA receive the vessels when they sell in. NIMASA monitors when the vessels come in. There is no vessel that sells in or out of the country that NIMASA does not have its record. When they check the records, most of the vessels were nowhere to be found. So who are the people aiding and abetting this criminality that is visited on Nigerians? A lot of heads will roll.
I know Juma will step in a minute because we're almost done now. But have you ever suspected, or for a minute, did it ever cross your mind that the president was likely going to remove the group chief executive of the NNPCL, Melekiari? Because a lot of persons said, well, the president steps into office, first thing he removes Emefiele, the next thing removes Bawa of the FCC, and they thought that big stick would also extend to the NNPC. Are there dynamics around the NNPC that make it peculiar under these circumstances?
Like I told you, watch what will happen in the coming days and months. Heads we roll. Heads we roll. A lot of wickedness have been visited on Nigerians by the selfish interest of a few holding Nigeria to the jugular. Why? Why do you want to kill Nigeria? You don't care about over 215 million persons? Only the money you cannot finish, you cannot use. Your 3 to 5th generation cannot finish. You are amassing it at the expense of the generation of Nigerians. Watch what will happen. At that, I believe Mr. President is doing something. I don't know who will go, but I know that people will go. Yes, we will.
I think Juma wants to ask
let's take a look at the president's broadcast that happened in the course of the protests that took place. Most people will say the president's broadcast did not hit home run. It didn't touch the hearts of individuals. It did not talk about the hardship. It did not talk about the high cost of living. It didn't talk about anything. It was just vague. What's your take on the president's broadcast?
The president's speech was very encyclopedic, very comprehensive. People wanted the president to tell them what they want to hear. You said president did not do this, he has not done this, this is why they are suffering. And the president told you, look at this, I have done this, I am doing this. Look at the policies I have put in place to cushion this problem. Look at what I have done. Look at where we are coming from in terms of debt servicing and whatever. Look at this, look at these policies. So what do you want Mr. President to say? To tell you, I will remove petroleum subsidy. He doesn't have the power to remove petroleum subsidy. It is a matter of the law. Except the Petroleum Industry Act is amended, that provision. I don't know whether you get me. That is when petroleum subsidy will go. So you want him to say, I have removed it. It's not possible. Then what else do you want? He has made provisions to cushion the effect of the hardship Our governors are the people we should look and hold on to, to question. Ask them, what are you doing with all these monies you are receiving all these years? Since the present administration came and subsidy was removed, and you are receiving, large sums of money in the form of allocation every day. Are we seeing commensurate projects with the amount of money they are getting? No. And when you look at it, local government administration in many states are dead. It is the governor that is spending all the resources. What are they doing, or what have they been doing with those resources? They are the people that will ask questions, because they are the ones closer to the people. Let them tell us what they have been doing with their resources to cushion the effect of this hardship. Everybody said, federal government, it is not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The man is doing his best to reinvent Nigeria for all of us. He needs our support to be able to do that. Our party is doing their best to reinvent Nigeria that has been bruised and battered over the years for all of us. Yes, people will say 10 years is too much. Well, it looks much, but if you know the enormity of the wrath, you will know that a lot of work needs to be done. Nigeria is a work in progress.
All right, let's do a bit more work now as we wrap up. First of all, we keep talking about subsidy removal. Some persons, experts in the industry and economists as well, will tell you that the idea basically came from Bretton Woods institutions, IMF in this particular case. But let's also talk about how that there are countries that still subsidize essentials as basic as groceries, for example. Why is subsidy such a humongous issue? Some people say it's a storm in a teacup. That's one question. The second question is, does it make sense that President Bola Tinubu, like we saw with former President Muhammadu Buhari, is the de facto Minister of Petroleum Resources?
The president is at liberty to appoint anybody to head any ministry. I don't know what I get.
Including deciding to head it himself.
If he decides to, we have a minister of state. If he decides to be, because there are things he wants to correct or whatever, he wants to be the de facto minister of petroleum. We did see it during President Obasanjo's tenure. It happened. We did see it.
But does he make it right?
Well, I will not say it is right or wrong. It is at the discretion of the president. He's the one that has the power to appoint and to fire. He has the power to hire and fire. I don't know whether you get me. So if he decides to, this ministry, because it is sensitive, it is a live wire of Nigeria, let me be the one that will be the minister to be able to superintend and supervise whatever is going on there. So be it. It did not start with him. What matters most is, does Nigeria or are Nigerians getting value for their resources? Now, you did talk about subsidy elsewhere. Is Nigeria a rich country? The answer is no.
Why is that?
Thank you. Nigeria is rich in human and material resources, but we have not harnessed our human and material resources to translate into the economic empowerment and prosperity of Nigerians. It is like you bring a crude, let's say you bring wood. It is when wood is refined, when there is value addition, you have table like this. So there have not been value addition for us to have a byproducts that will give us what we need. That was why I said Nigeria is a work in progress. Countries that subsidize some of the things they do have enormous resources. If I may ask, how many Nigerians pay tax? If you go to some countries, the water you drink, I just came back from one of my businesses in the West Coast. My brother, bottled water, I bought it at, I think, 1,300 naira. 1,300 naira, this 1.5 liter bottled water, 1,300 naira. Is it what we are buying here? A lot of, when people make comparison, they fail to make a realistic comparison, what is practically applicable. We are enjoying this, we are suffering, yes, because it has not been like this. That was why I said we are living the real life now. After this phase, we will enjoy. When you subsidize consumption, you are calling for poverty and impoverishment. Let us encourage production first. When we are self-sufficient in production of things we need, then we can now put up subsidy, though it will not affect our receipts. And then we'll enjoy a better life. But we have not encouraged production. We are only consuming. I will subsidize consumption. Nigeria will collapse. Subsidy is basically for consumption, not for manufacturing. If we are to give subsidy, let us give it to the manufacturing sector that will stimulate production, so that they will employ people more create more employment, generate more money for the economy, and then there will be economic growth and betterment for the entire Nigerians. Let us encourage, production first, subsidize production and not consumption. Then later we will enjoy.
All right, we'll look forward to that. But then again, this is where we're leaving this conversation. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Chibuna Obabuike for coming to do this with us. We're taking a quick break now, everyone. 2 more discussions up ahead. We'll let you in on those after those breaks. Stay with us.